Hello, I'm Pam Butler, Communications Volunteer for AARP Louisiana. Thank you for joining us. AARP has been working to promote the health and well-being of older Americans for more than 60 years through information, advocacy, and resources. Part of that work includes helping to improve the places we live so we can thrive no matter our age, ability, or background. We all want to live in places where there are transportation options, housing's affordable and meets our needs as we age. There's access to public spaces and the outdoors, and there are ways to stay connected with loved ones and neighbors. Ultimately, our vision is for a future in which communities, urban, suburban, and rural, are great places for everyone. AARP is doing this work nationwide, including here in Louisiana. So today, I am pleased to share some exciting news. 7 Louisiana organizations are receiving grants through the AARP Community Challenge, our Livable Communities Grant Program. Today, we're joined by 2 of Louisiana's grantees to share more about their projects and answer questions. Now I'd like to introduce Molly McGinnis, Regulatory Director for the City of Harahan, and Charles Borchers, Grants Director for the City of Hammond. Welcome and thanks for being here, Molly and Charles.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Let's get started by learning more about our first project. Molly, let's go with you first. Tell us about your Community Challenge Grant project.
Well, I have only been with Harahan a little less than a year, but when I started, one of the main concerns that the CAO had just discussed with me, and it wasn't even in my ballpark, was our lack of crosswalks. The city has a state highway running down the middle, and we wanted for that highway to be more of a connector than a divider because it runs directly through our entire residential areas. So I had a friend who did grants and I talked to him. He put me in touch with Bike Easy here in New Orleans, and they recommended that I look into y'all's grants. And what we're hoping to do is we have a senior center on the south side of the highway, but most of the housing is on the north side. So we wanted to look at trying to get safer crosswalks, better public transportation. Our bus stops are not very good. So that we could pull everybody together and our seniors could access everything. And we have a very small community, but they're very active and they're very close knit. And we want to encourage that and continue that. So what we want to do is use this grant with the walk audits in order to parlay that into more grants, maybe, some of this safe sidewalk grants and all of those things. It's going to be a long-term project.
Sounds wonderful. So what are your plans for this fall and beyond? And how can people get involved?
Our plans for this fall are to do 4 walk audits along the highway. We're going to involve the senior center and anyone. I have a number of volunteers already that are excited about it. The citizens are incredibly involved here. Anyone who would like to be involved can contact me at City Hall, 504-737-6383, or we'll be putting information up on the city's website, which is harahanla.gov.
Great. And Molly, as we look to the future, how do you hope this project will help strengthen your community?
By making it easier for everyone to get together to bring everyone outside to walk. We're right on the river. There's a lot of, we have the bike trails up there. We're improving a lot of our parks. So we're hoping to make it safer for everyone to get out on foot or on bicycle. And I just think that makes a closer sense of community. And so we just want to use that to keep on getting money. We're small. If we don't have help, we really can't do a lot of these things. So we want to use that to get the money to make this a better community.
Well, sounds like you're doing a lot, Molly. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Now let's learn more about what's going on in the City of Hammond. So Charles, I'll go to you now. Tell us about your Community Challenge Grant project.
Sure. So what we're looking to do is actually improve a small pocket park in our downtown area. It was initially put in 2007. It was a partnership between the city, the Morrison family, it's called Morrison Park, our Downtown Development District, and our Chamber of Commerce. But over the years, the landscaping has become overgrown. There's a beautiful live oak that's at the center of the space. It's about 2,000 square feet, so it's not a very large space, but we felt like if we were able to re-landscape the space, bring in some new seating and tables, really make the oak tree the centerpiece of the space, that would be more usable by the community. Morrison Alley, Morrison Park sits at the west end of Morrison Alley. Morrison Alley backs up against several businesses, restaurants, the Hammond Regional Arts Center. Directly across the street from Morrison Park is the Louisiana Children's Discovery Center. So there's a lot of activity around that space, a great diversity of types of people and ages. And again, we felt like this was a small park, but it was an opportunity for us to make some improvements to that space and really make it more usable.
Great, great. So what are your plans for this fall and beyond? And how can people get involved?
Sure. So for the fall, we're planning to do, probably in the next couple of weeks here, probably host a town hall meeting where we'll invite members of the public, the business community, et cetera, to come in and give us some feedback, what they'd like to see, their thoughts about the space. We have some ideas, but we'd like to get their feedback on those. We've already done some preliminary work by removing some of the overgrown landscaping, some of the overgrown plants. So we have a better idea of what the space looks like. But we're hoping in the fall to be able to bring in new seating, some tables, possibly a bench swing, new landscaping, flowers, maybe do some new signage. And if people are interested in learning more about the project or want to volunteer for the project, the easiest way to do that is probably to go to our website, hammond.org/grants, and you'll find my contact information as well as the information for our staff.
Okay, great. So as we look to the future, how do you hope this project will help strengthen the City of Hammond?
Well, like I said earlier, what we're really hoping is that by making the space a more inviting space, right now there's basically two benches. So there's not a lot of room for people to enjoy the space. By opening up the space, by allowing people to move through the space, come into the space, making that live oak the focal piece of the space, we're hoping that it's a space that's being used all the time. We think that for the restaurants around the corner, on a pretty day when it's not too hot in Louisiana, not too humid, maybe when it gets into the fall and it's cooler, we'll have people who will want to be outside, enjoying Louisiana outdoors when it's nice and pleasant outside. Morrison Alley is also an event space. So the Hammond Regional Arts Center hosts a couple of big events there, fundraising events, which have become really popular in the community. And this will be something that can be used for those events as well. It will be additional seating and dining space and space for those events. So we're really hoping that this is the first step in something that's transformative for the alley, that turns it into more than just an alley and parking lot, into a space that people can enjoy. We do have some longer term plans once this project is completed. But we're really hoping that this becomes a space, like I said, that the entire community will be able to enjoy.
Wonderful. Well, Molly and Charles, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and I'm certainly excited for you about these projects that you'll be undertaking. Thanks for tuning in today. And as we close, do you have any brief parting words, Charles and Molly, for our audience?
I would just like to say thank you to AARP. it's grants like this. We are the grants department, so we apply for a lot of grants. We don't get all of the grants we apply for. I understand this year was very competitive, so I think for all of us in Louisiana in particular, who were successful in getting funding, kudos to all of us. We're very excited about the project, and grants like this really become catalysts for other things in the future. So this is the first step in what we hope will be a series of steps that will really be transformative to that part of downtown. We thank you.
Molly, anything you'd like to share before we wrap up?
From the mayor, he's wonderful. The councilman, everyone has been incredible. But we're very small, and everybody wears a lot of hats. So I volunteered for this, but I just think it's the best program that we can do to try to help people on a level that they can actually experience. And we're looking forward to doing this and doing more. I think the AARP programs are fantastic, and I'm sorry I didn't know about them sooner in the other jurisdictions I worked in, because this is a great grant program.
Well, thank you for that. And thanks again for joining us. For our audience, to learn more about these community challenge projects and others across the country, you can visit AARP's Livable Communities Grant website at www.aarp.org/community challenge. Thank you again for joining us, and stay safe.